take this for notes.
You're gonna what?
Then I was thinking of, is this being recorded,
Oh,
which
yes.
would be helpful?
Yes.
Okay, great. It is
Yes.
being recorded. Okay, great.
Yep.
I'm really getting into the recording of these calls now. And note taking with the AI functionality. Pardon?
It's a new skill you have to learn.
Oh gosh, that's modern life, isn't it? It's just
Right.
This is the problem. We just got to keep
really
learning things.
is.
The best.
Great, but they end up doing their software update like 3 times a month, and I can't keep up.
Lifelong learner. That's what they tell us we need to be now.
Right.
Well, I'm going to get started for everyone's
Sure.
benefit. Good morning,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm Doris Carson Williams, Chief Executive Officer here at the African American Chamber of Commerce of Western Pennsylvania, and we welcome you to this special session that you will have to learn more about your properties. To do that, I've asked our new president, Beretta Bay, to introduce our speakers and talk about the project. You'll be able to interact with him. Just know we'll be sending out a survey, and if you have questions, put it in the chat or raise your hand. Beretta, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Doris. Hello, everyone. I'm Beretta Bay, the president for the African American Chamber, and I have the pleasure of introducing Brianna Tyson and Brett Welsh. I met them several months ago, and I'm just blown away at the work that they're doing and the vision that they have for Pittsburgh in relations to the development projects. Hullett Properties is ran by Brianna and Brett. They moved to Pittsburgh 5 years ago from Canada to undertake urban real estate developments focused on residential projects. The company has completed several projects to date in Pittsburgh, including 2554 Smallman. It's a 27 condo development with retail in the Strip District, and James Cafe in the base of the building. They are working on the Triangle Building, if you're all familiar where that's located downtown. It's a repurposing of a cultural district historic building and has several projects. They also have several projects slated to commence construction in the fall of this year, including 199 unit apartment building in the Strip District and another residential conversion of a historical cultural district building at 933 Penn Avenue. Previous Hullett Properties, Brianna and Brett worked for leading real estate developers based in Vancouver in corporate roles. Brianna and Brett are interested in developments providing elevated design standards and functionality in the Pittsburgh region. So with that being said, I love to introduce and turn it over to Brianna and Brett to talk more about what their company does, how you can partner with them, and some of the projects that they have slated to roll out this fall. So I'll turn it over to you two. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. And I first just want to start with why we're doing this. I think that, and why we've become members of the chamber and what we're trying to achieve with this meeting and our purpose even more broadly. We have active projects where we engage third-party general contractors. So we don't have general contracting in-house, but that puts us in a position of being able to introduce general contractors to new suppliers, vendors, subcontractors, and we have done that on all our projects to date here in Pittsburgh. And let's say, we've done, I guess, 3 projects really to speak of. There's a 4th that's about to start, and then I can talk about the larger projects that are coming up in the fall. And so one of the disappointments that we have had with respect to working with general contractors is we don't feel or have not seen the evidence that they have really gone out and put the effort that we ask them to put into more inclusive bidding processes, both with women-owned businesses and with minority-owned businesses. Now, we have done that ourselves directly with the consultants we work with. So in any kind of construction project, you're employing a couple dozen consultants at least whether they're engineers or obviously the architect and otherwise. And we have a very, I would say, diverse group of people that we work with respect to MWBE companies. And we're happy with how we've been able to progress directly in that respect. We ourselves are women-owned business with Brianna, and so we've naturally actually gravitated, it seems, to working with a lot of women as well. And so we felt compelled to look to reach out directly to those who we would like to give the opportunity to work on our projects and not run through the general contractor when it comes to those construction jobs. Now, there's also on the other side of this, which I'll speak to, is Brianna and I are very big believers in building retail in all the developments that we do, which actually puts us in a minority with respect to local developers. So all of the projects we are doing has a retail component. What we have found is that, again, the kind of retail that we have seen as far as space sizes and cost in the city are not necessarily conducive to where we see retail going. And this actually, we feel, has a impactful effect on those companies that are either just starting out or don't have the sort of national brand type of resources. So we're looking to build smaller retail spaces. We're already in discussion with certain retailers who, irrespective of race or gender, are looking to have smaller spaces, and we think that that's just something sensible to do as a real estate developer. But in speaking with your organization, we've realized that actually that's something that your members have been asking about. So I'm talking about 200, 300, so sort of retail spaces that are, say, under 500 square feet, and that's, so we're also interested in meeting members who have retail offerings or want to have retail offerings and don't at the moment, and are looking for spaces in the city to do so. And we're developing in the Strip District, downtown, in Larimer, and we're looking at some other sites in the north side and such. So one of the other ways that we have sourced funding for our projects, particularly downtown, where there has been a lot of governmental eyes on the rejuvenation of downtown, given what we have seen with the office market and the concern about the tax base. And so we've received funding from the URA and other organizations where we actually have a mandate to go out and seek to work with minority-owned businesses. And so we want to fulfill those. They're not requirements, but they're best efforts type of arrangements. But we want to meet those targets, and we want to even exceed those. And as I said, we simply don't think we're getting the kind of support from our general contractors, which in many ways is understandable and doesn't make Pittsburgh unique. General contractors have, through the years,
Formed relationships.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead if you want.
And they rely on those vendors and those suppliers, and they kind of just go back to those people time and time again. And so Brett and I are trying to make this breakthrough, and also be really a part of the selection of who we're working with on the projects. And then also, we're doing a lot of projects with other partners. And so being able to take our knowledge and the work that we're doing and the people that we're working with, and being able to spread that across like a variety of projects, big and small.
Yeah.
I think is.
Yeah. And so what are we working on, and what's the opportunity for the Chamber's members? We have a 199 unit new construction apartment building that is slated to go into construction in the first week of September of this year. The address is 5026th Street in the Strip District. We do have a partner co-developer on that project. We're also doing the interior design on that project as well, which we have to date always done on our projects, but that may, we'll pick and choose as we go forward. There's another project that we have, which, like the Triangle building, which we've just finished up, is a historic residential conversion in the Cultural District. The address is 933 Penn Avenue. That will be 70 residential units.
With ground floor retail.
Yeah, and both 5026, the 199 unit apartment building, also has 2 retail spaces. One that's relatively small, and
About 850 square feet is one, and about 3,000 is the other. But the 3,000 square foot unit could be
divided up. And that also, there's 4,500 square feet of retail at 933 Penn Avenue in the cultural district that is anticipated. Again, that can be broken down as we choose, as we go forward. So we also have other projects which which may not be worth talking about right now because they're not like active in the sense that we have a construction start date in mind with a schedule that seems to have some I wouldn't say, nothing certain, but there's a clear path that we understand with a schedule to when we're going into construction. So they're what I would call active and live projects.
We're trying to, there is a development though that we are looking at doing downtown that would go into construction in about a year, and then that build time frame is about 15 months. And that development we would like to have some retail that's like incubator retail. So the retail Brett's talking about for new businesses or maybe businesses that have an online presence coming into those spaces, using those spaces either short-term or long-term. The PDP is doing this amazing retail pop-up program, which you may or may not be aware of, but I think one of the big obstacles for them has been trying to find space that is like permitted and has the appropriate life safety in place. So really we would be building up these spaces. They're not just a vanilla shell, they'll have floors, they'll have lighting. So really you can bring yourself into those space and it's very turnkey.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment because it may not be something your members are aware of, which is a fantastic program that we would help a tenant in the process, which is the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership. The PDP has 2 prongs, I would say, to their retail program. One is for 12 months, they will subsidize the landlord for 50% of the rental amount. So 50% of the rent up to a maximum, I think it's $2,000 per month, they will pay the landlord rather than having the tenant pay it. So the tenant basically gets 50% off rent for the first year, assuming that total payment is not above $2,000. The second prong that they have is they are contributing in the form of a grant, money that they've raised from a foundation to contribute $50,000 to the tenant build out space for any tenancy of any size, any space. So that's $50,000 for the build out, and it's half off rent for the first year. And that could be combined with what we're doing as a landlord. So it's a really great new program that was just been announced. And Brianna was talking about actually another program they have.
Well, we don't have the room on here.
Pardon me? Sorry, I missed that. And we're going to stop talking in just a minute.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Was there a question?
No.
Oh, okay. So the next thing other project I want to speak of, and then I think it'd be great to hear from everyone, and we'll talk about how you can contact us in order to get on the list, whether you're a subcontractor or a retailer. Is we also have a project in Laramie on Hamilton Avenue that is in a very early stage. But that is a project where there's other types of subsidy money available. It is in the opportunity corridor that the URA has a program for tenants. I believe I think it's a $200,000 0% interest loan for like 30 years or something. If that's not correct, it's very close to that. For retailers to come in, we will be building retail. That's another multifamily building. It'll be about 130 units, but we're very early on in the process. But we have already met with the community group. We've already made certain commitments to involvement by the community and minority subcontractors and retailers and everything. And given the location of it being in Larimer and a lot of interest in inclusivity in order to be a contribution to the existing neighborhood rather than a gentrification away from the existing neighborhood, we're going to be very, very conscious of doing that project in a manner that is, is in line with what the community group wants to see. Those will have an affordability metric as well to those units. In fact, everything we're doing actually has affordable units. But
one of the points I want to make regarding the development on Hamilton Avenue is that, we're still in a concept and design phase. And one of the things we will be doing for this project is putting together some requests for people to bring ideas, artists. I think that there's a big opportunity for people like in the arts, whether it's you can do a mural or we can have things that are locally made by artists in the community within the design. I think it can be really show-stopping, and I think that the project needs to speak to the community and not just with art, but we're also focused very heavily on sustainability for the building and having public space. So creating a really amazing public space where people can come and gather, and it's really important for this project.
We're also in discussions with like-minded local political leadership who sees this also as a priority. Probably most notably Representative Arian Abney, who we've had some discussions with, who very much is working in the interest of minority-owned businesses to be a part of the kind of projects that we're doing to create a better ecosystem for those businesses. And so we're speaking to a lot of, whether it's the URA, it's the county, it's state representatives, also state senators, in order to for us to help them, for them to help us with trying to achieve something here in a way that, frankly, we just haven't seen, done as well in our projects. I know that in the Hill District with the F&B Tower, there were some real success stories there with minority-owned subcontractors, but we're not seeing that, at least we haven't, in the larger marketplace, and that's what we're seeking to change here with our projects at the very least. So I'll leave it at that. And well, maybe just before going to questions, I'm not sure how we're going to do this. If Sean is gonna, what I'd like to do is for everyone to have our contact details, so that if you're interested, if you're a subcontractor or a retailer or a supplier or vendor or anything, or an artist, you can contact us directly, and then we can then assign, where it's most appropriate, if it's for the general contractor, or if it's for us directly, or if it's someone else. And then we can act as that sort of organization for this meeting or the results of this meeting. So I think that's all we wanted to say. If anyone has any questions.
I just want to mention to you, Brett, that's helpful. Our members will be presented with a evaluation. From that evaluation, which we will share with you on the content of your presentation this morning, they will have their contact information, which we will forward to you.
Got it. Okay, understood.
Okay.
And then if you want to put in the chat your information, our members will have it readily available to them. I think that what you are sharing, and I know Beretta is still on with us, what you are sharing with us is your outreach and ability to work with small business owners. So this is exciting. Who had questions?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll do it just separately. Sorry, I'm just typing it up, but go ahead.
That's okay. Who had questions?
Okay, this is
You're
Marty.
on mute, so you're on mute.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is Nene Stokes from Seattle Global. We're professional service, personal placement, and training company. So we
Okay.
kind of align exactly what you guys are doing for as the neighborhoods and the low income and trying to provide affordable sustainability in the neighborhoods. We use a lot of students that are graduating from like trade schools, a lot of students that are maybe unemployed that need the skills. That's where we train them at to get them on these larger projects and have access to these larger projects that will give them a living wage. So we're very excited. I'm very excited as Seattle Global to be a part of this. We are actually from the east side of Pittsburgh, where you guys will be over Larimer, Homewood, East Liberty. We're all over that area. We have an office here. And so I really am appreciative of you guys extending this opportunity to us to be able to get into a larger pool.
And I
get these
think
children
each of you in your
Yeah.
evaluation that you send, thank you, dear, because you're point on.
Yes, ma'am.
Each
So
of
one thing I
you,
should add, oh, sorry, go ahead.
each of you can put in your evaluation your information, and not necessarily your title, but just a brief synopsis of what you do. Very
Yeah, that would be really
brief.
helpful. It's so that
Very
we
brief.
understand like what exactly your company does, like whether
Right.
it's a facilitator or it's like, hey, I'm an electrical contractor or I am a supplier of signage or anything like that. And one thing I actually neglected to mention is that we've already had a conversation with Robert Cherry at Partner for Work. Every one of our projects is going to have an apprenticeship program through Partner for Work. We are setting that up. So Partner for Work will have this apprenticeship program, and then it will be on every one of the projects that we do, in line with just what you were just saying, so that we can. So there's two aspects to this. There's actual companies that can be contracted to do the work, and then there's individuals who want exposure to these projects. And so one of the ways that individuals can be exposed to these projects and learn about, how, determine for career advancement or career research purposes, we're also making that available. And to date, we've set this up with Partner for Work, which we will be announcing when we're further along, and we'll announce it to the chamber so everyone's aware of that.
Well, you should know, Brett, that they are also our member.
Mm-hmm.
So we work with Rob Cherry. That's one of the things that Beretta is established a relationship with to pursue on
Great.
projects like this. Did anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is Marty here from RS Supply. Brett and
Yeah.
Brianna, thank you for putting this together, as well as the chamber. So we
Yeah.
own and operate RS Supply, and we are actually at 6929 Hamilton, where we own our building and operate out of. So what is the address of your building? Because on the paperwork, it says 6500, is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, and is that building, is that gonna be tear down and new construction on that building?
Correct.
Okay, and then what about the time frame for that, the construction? But I know you said it's a ways out. Well, what's the
Yeah,
time frame
it's
for that
really
building?
open. We really don't know, to be honest. That's the honest answer, simply because we haven't started the design process. But broadly speaking,
Some of the design,
I guess it like I would say, if you wanted to note it down,
probably like a year and a half.
yeah, or 2 years, something like that. Start of construction, just for your purposes, like in 2 years, you could note that down.
Okay, yeah, we want to be a part of it any way, shape, form. Again, it's right down the street from us on the opposite side of our building.
Perfect.
So it only makes sense for us to, see where we could fit in with you guys. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for your time and being on here.
Yeah, and we've reached out to get certain funding for that project, and depending on where that falls in, it will mean we'll start either earlier or later. Basically, we've gone out for some grant money, and so I think that will dictate whether it's earlier, like Brianna said,
We
or a
can
little bit
start
later.
earlier if that funding sort of comes together. Yeah.
And the other option also is work with Beretta. see what resources he has available for this, because he's our point person that will
Yeah.
help our members in particular that are on this call, so that we make sure they get included in this project.
Yeah, and just to
That's
give you a
very
sense
good.
of the size of these projects, the one on 5026 is a $55 million total cost project. The 933 Penn Ave is about 30 million total cost project. The one at 6500 Hamilton,
Be like
around 40 million. So these are, you know, what
Oh,
we
that's-
would
they're
call
sizable.
medium-sized projects for us in our history of being developers. But they're not small projects, you know, they're of a certain size.
Well, this is helpful. And what I will do is work with Beretta and Sean, just because I like to stick my head in things. Make sure that our members have included on their survey their name and the focus of their business.
Yeah.
And it has to be brief, everyone, please, for their benefit. And then we'll get that over to you.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
that's great.
And we'll take it from there. Let me thank everyone. You know, we have one announcement I want to make, that on May 7th, we have a discussion on legal issues with Penn State Law. It's a pro bono service for those that need legal services. They did a wonderful job with us last year, and we're having them back. And don't forget, I'm sitting here looking at an email from Chancellor Gable's office. May 29th is our annual meeting, members meeting and luncheon. We encourage you to be there. You're going to love the gift. You're just going to love it. It's fun, and it'll make you smile. But we have our members meeting at 11 o'clock, and it'll be brief, but it'll be concise. And as always, we're hoping to get the chancellor to come in and meet privately with you for about 10 minutes before we go out into the corridor and get ready to go in for the luncheon. So thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Beretta. Excellent choice. And this concludes our workshop for this morning, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Doris.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Brianna.
Thanks.